We really haven't talked about how to do an actual evaluation. All we've talked about is setting the stage. There really isn't a codified method for conducting an evaluation, and it might vary from school to school. But let me suggest one approach. At the core of the evaluation process is the observation. And I showed you how you can set up versions and form headings for your observations, and then set up individual observations for each teacher. And you do that in this dialog here, where you select the version and who's making the observation and the teacher, date, and so on. Then when you go to actually make the evaluation, you select the one that you have set up, and you go in real time and make your comments. And if you have a laptop or a tablet, you can do that right in the classroom as you observe. But observations are something you're going to go back to when you begin actually scoring in the evaluation process. Besides observations, there's another form of input, and that's directly from the teachers themselves. There are 3 ways they can do that. The first one is to allow them to enter goals. This will at least give you a sense of where you think that they are going. And by the way, if you recall, you can change each of these headings. The other thing you can do is allow them to self-evaluate. So I'm going to log in as a teacher here. So I'm going to become Ken Anderson. And if I go over to View Evaluations, and here's the spring evaluation for 2019. And you can see that I can score myself here and make comments. This will give you a sense of where they think they are. Another way to get input from a teacher is to allow them to upload articles, white papers, or narratives about their year and their successes and the direction that they're going, and that's done through the file manager. So we've seen how we can gather data and input for our final evaluation process, but we haven't talked about how to actually score an evaluation. So there's 3 steps. The first one is to have assigned evaluators. They could be department heads or administrators, such as principals or even head of school, do their evaluation. We can also, as I've pointed out, allow teachers to do a self-evaluation. And then there's the coming together of evaluators to make the final determination as to the score for each of the criteria. So let's start with an administrator making an evaluation. Anybody who can see this screen is an administrator, but in order to evaluate, you have to become an evaluator. So John Higgins will become an evaluator, and you can see that the scoring sheet is empty, but I will go in and make my evaluation here, my scoring, and then I can make some comments. And then when I'm done scoring, I click Save. So now let me become a straight-out evaluator, and that would be Cindy Johnson here. Notice her screen. She's not an administrator. This is all she can see. So when she goes to evaluate, again, a blank screen, and she can do her evaluation here and make comments. And then I save. Now I'm going to log in as a teacher, Charity Adams. These are my options, and when I click View Evaluations, I have an Evaluate button, and that's because I turned on Self-Evaluation. So I can go through and evaluate myself, maybe be generous in some areas, and then I can add my own comments to defend my choices. And then I go ahead and save. Let me log out as Charity and back in as John Higgins, our administrator. And now when I go to the Evaluate screen for Charity, I'll see all of the previous evaluators' scoring, including mine, and I can see everyone's comments. So at this point, we really should collaborate as a team, all the evaluators coming together and reading the comments and discussing the scoring, and then finally make a final score based on that consensus. Now we can allow Charity to see her evaluation. So I'll click on Allow Final to be viewed. And if I log back in as her, and I view my evaluation, notice there's a new button here, View Final. So the teacher then can see how well they have scored. So in this video, we've talked about how to gather input throughout the school year, and then how to do the final scoring. So hopefully this will give you a good overview of how an evaluation actually takes place. Again, it's a little bit personal and you might have a different method of doing it, but we feel this is a viable approach. So if you have any questions for us, just let us know through the Zendesk system.